What's going on, guys? This is Badass Reviewer, and today I'll be taking a look at the Disney Store exclusive Marvel Select Marvel Now Thor. Holy cow, guys. This is probably the best Thor figure ever to be released in action figure form. Other than Hot Toys, but I don't have that. So, I purchased the new God of Thunder figure. Very awesome. I'm super happy that I picked this guy up. I don't really collect Marvel Selects that often. I only really pick the ones that kind of fit in more with Marvel Legends. So usually I kind of just buy certain characters that maybe we don't have Marvel Legends for, or you know, if they fit in scale, I do that. But this guy, he fits in scale with Marvel Legends just fine, and he's freaking awesome. This guy looks amazing. I love this figure a lot. It's just so great. The posability is fantastic. The detail, the coloring, the painting, everything about him, just so good. If you have the Marvel Now Marvel Legends Thor, you might as well just throw them in the trash or try and sell them for really cheap, because this is definitely worth every penny. He does run about $30 on Marvel.com. I think you can get it on DisneyStore.com, but I got it on Marvel. But it's just a really fantastic figure, head to toe. I mean, full of detail all over. If we kind of just take a look at him for a second, very big guy. I mean, obviously he's a pretty big character, and Marvel Select do tend to be a little bit bigger than Marvel Legends, but he just looks very beefy, just in like the way he's built. But yeah, it looks very nice. I like the detail on his helmet here. It's a very nice, it's kind of a, I don't know, it's just kind of a plain silver, but I like it. I like the way it looks. It's got some kind of like glittery to it, if that makes sense. I don't really know how to explain it. It looks glittery to me, but not in a bad way. It looks actually really cool. It's kind of made of a soft, and I'm not even getting it on camera, I'm sorry guys. Let me pop his head off here. It's made of a kind of soft rubbery plastic here, so that's nice. It won't, I mean, it probably would warp if you mess with it too much, but very soft plastic here, pretty much his entire helmet. It's obviously just a glued on piece, which actually looks kind of weird if you look from the side here, because his hair is just not even attached to his head. So it's kind of weird looking, but very nice. I like the detail on this. I don't particularly care for this thing too much. I don't really like that he wears this, but I mean, that's part of his helmet, I guess. But it's very nice. It looks very weathered, and it almost looks like it's sandy, like it's got some sand coated all over it. But it's very nice detailing and shading, sculpted pretty nicely. The head sculpt is pretty, it's okay to me. I know different renditions of artists, he's gonna look a little bit different, so I guess it's okay. Here he is with the helmet off. The hair is sculpted nicely, but the top kind of looks like it got a little clumpy right there, so it's a little off-turning. But I think this would be a good Sentry head, if anybody would want to like drill out the head and put it on there. Might be a little too big, but I think it'd be a good Sentry head, at least in my opinion anyways. So yeah, you can pop that on pretty easily. This head doesn't really pop on too easily for some reason, but for the sake of the review, we'll keep this head on, which looks good. I don't know if anybody has thought about it. I know I thought about it, but here he is with the Marvel Legends Marvel Now Thor. I thought about swapping the heads, because I like this helmet a little bit more than this one, but the skin tone on his face doesn't match up. And then the head actually doesn't even fit on to this one very well, because the peg's a little bit bigger, I think. So it doesn't fit well. And I've almost wondered if I couldn't just you know, pop the hair off on this one, since this is just glued onto his head. Pop the hair off on this one, pop the helmet off on this one, and just put it over his head and see if it fit. I mean, you'd be kind of messing up your figure, but in the long run it could actually look pretty cool if it worked. But other than that, guys, if we go down the rest of his body, very nice sculpting and detail. He doesn't have glossy paint or anything like that. He's pretty much a flat color, but it's the shading that really makes it really stand out, and the texturing. it looks awesome. Like, it looks like if this was a real person, this is how his chest would look, in terms of like the material for his outfit. It just looks really awesome. Yeah, so the skin tone is very tan, and it's got some nice shading going on throughout it, which is very nice. If we look over here, he's got the sculpted wristbands here, or wrist guards, whatever you want to call it. They got some spikes on there. Very nice. Take a look at his hand. He's got a glove thing, kind of a forearm guard or something. I don't know what you want to call that. The torso, like I said, very nice. These are all individually sculpted. I do believe they're just glued on, but it doesn't look like they'd pop out pretty at all. Very easily. These ones are at least glued on. These look like they're actually sculpted on, so that's nice. He's got some sculpted line work going on here, which is a nice gold on the side. Just all around fantastic looking. If you look on the back, I really like this cape. It's not like a really sturdy plastic, so it's like pliable. You can move it around a little bit. I also like that it's just kind of straight up and down, because I don't really care for windswept capes all that often, just because it kind of looks funky when they're just kind of standing there, and maybe you have them in a display where they're inside or something, and it's like, oh, their cape is windswept. It's kind of like with windswept hair. I'm not a big fan of it. If we come down to his lower torso here, this is a soft rubbery plastic. Again, it's very nicely painted. Detail is pretty solid on that. His legs had the little checkerboard design going on there, which is all etched in. None of it's painted lines. It's all sculpted on. The boots look really nice. They did a really good job with the knee joint here, kind of covering that up so it doesn't look really ugly. So that's very nice. And the boots, there's not a whole lot going on, but it's still very nicely sculpted and detailed. So that's very nice. Guys, if you haven't bought this figure yet, you should really have stopped from the minute into this video and just gone and bought this, because it's worth the 30 bucks. Especially for some of the accessories he comes with. Now, I don't have him holding the hammer he's supposed to come with. This is the Marvel Legends Marvel Now Thor hammer. I just kind of like this one a little bit better for when he's kind of standing manila. Or vanilla. Why did I say vanilla? Anyways, this is his normal hammer that he actually comes with, which is, looks like a traditional Thor hammer, which is nice. The handle's got some nice detailing, sculpt work, and paint, which is nice. I do kind of wish the hammer itself was a little bit more detailed. It's kind of just got a weathery kind of look to it. Nothing too crazy, but maybe some cracks and stuff like this one, which is kind of why I prefer this hammer. And his hand is clenched pretty tightly, so you kind of have to rip his hand open to get this one in here, since the handle's really thick. This one, the handle's not as thick, but he still holds it very nicely, so you don't have a problem with that. And like I said, I just kind of prefer this hammer. It looks a little bit better, and it's a little bit longer in the handle. So, and then once you get them posed with it, it looks very good. So yeah. And then what everyone really likes about this figure, besides from the figure itself, is the giant freaking hammer effect that he comes with. Holy cow, guys. This is awesome. This is worth at least the admission for the figure. So this is kind of just a bonus to an already awesome figure. But you can pop the hand off, get that off, and then you can plug it in. I'm doing it off camera just because it's easier. And then bam. You can have him with this spinning hammer effect, which is freaking awesome, because how often do we see that? I think we've only seen it with one other kind of Diamond Select figure, and now we're getting it in a 6-inch ish scale form. So very awesome. Like, it's gonna make so many possibilities for displays and for posing and whatnot. So that's very awesome, guys. And the detail on this thing is pretty nice. It's got the nice little like, it looks like it's spinning. They detailed the hammer on each end to make it look like it's the same obviously that it's the same hammer and it's going in that direction. So it's very nice attention to detail on that part. All the handles are painted individually. They're not just kind of like molded plastic or anything. So this has actually got a lot of nice detail. All of the hammers themselves are pretty plain. Would have been nice to maybe get some extra sculpting work in there, but you know, they're already giving us something really cool. I can't really complain too much. So other than that, guys, that's all of his accessories. He does come with a stand, which you may end up needing to use when you're posing him with the hammer effect, because it is pretty heavy, so it will cause him to fall over. But anyways, let's talk about articulation. The head is on a single ball peg. It's not on like a swivel or anything. It's just kind of a joint that moves around. So the head, it can move up quite a bit. It doesn't really stay there just because of the back piece, but you can kind of half it. See, that's the joint right here. Kind of looks like a DC-UC joint, but yeah, it does get a good range of motion, 360 degrees left and right. His arms go in and out, rotate 360 degrees. And what's nice about this cape is that it doesn't hinder really any of the articulation. It does kind of look a little funky, but that's quite alright with me. And the fact that you can do it is pretty good. It goes in and out, like I said, rotates at the bicep, single joint in the elbow, which is fine by me, rotates at the wrist as well as a hinge. I might also mention he has a fist on this hand. This hand actually swivels in and out, or up and down instead of in and out, so very nice. And this one's obviously the hammer holding hand. The other hand is stuck in a fixed position. It doesn't swivel or anything. It just rotates, and it's permanently stuck in a position to hold the hammer because it's specifically meant to hold the hammer. He's got a diaphragm joint here, kind of towards the stomach, which isn't very effective. It would have been better if they just sculpted, like just left it out, because it doesn't do a whole lot anyways. I mean, you can kind of get a little bit of range of motion out of it, but it's not much, and then it's not even worth messing with because you really don't need it. But he does have a waist swivel. The legs can go forward and back, in and out. They're on the DC Universe Classics kind of molding, which isn't bad, and it's not ugly because it's covered up. So that's nice. It's not like you notice that his legs look really weird looking. And it's pretty tight, so I don't think anyone has to worry about it eventually getting loose like some of the Marvel Legend figures or Marvel Select figures do. So hopefully it stays tight for a really long time and doesn't eventually get loose, because otherwise this guy's going to be a pain in the butt to stand. Anyways, he's got an upper thigh swivel. He's got a double joint in the knee. He's got a upper kind of cab swivel, I guess is what you want to call that. It's not really his cab, but it's kind of like his ankle swivel. He's got an ankle pivot, and then he's got a rotation in the boot. So tons of articulation. Like, this is Marvel Legends tier articulation, and it's actually better than the Marvel Legends Marvel Now Thor articulation. So if you guys, like I said, if you guys haven't bought this figure already, you should, because it's a fantastic figure. Definitely like one of my favorite Marvel Select figures out of these few that I have. But I would also say that's probably one of my favorite like Marvel figures that I own. And you know, for a long time I haven't really figured out what Marvel figure is one of my favorites. This is probably one of my favorites, along with Beta Ray Bill. But you know, that's Marvel Legends, Marvel Select. But this is a really cool figure, guys, and I would definitely pick it up. He fits in well with Marvel Legends. I mean, he's taller than the Marvel Now Legends figure, and compared to this Hulk, which is the biggest Hulk I have at the moment, he's about the same height. So it kind of depends on what Hulk you're using for your display, but he still works really good with your Marvel Legends display. So I would definitely pick him up. And you know what? Even if you don't like the figure, you get this, which works with other Thor figures, at least for the most part. I mean, it's kind of difficult, but still. Anyways, guys, that was my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry it was a little bit long, but I had to get all the details in. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Check out more upcoming videos coming out in the future. Check out my figures from the past, and I'll talk to you guys later.